Welcome to episode 3 of Let's Go Comic Show. My name is Justin.
My name's Matt.
We are excited to jump in to some good news, some nerdy news, some geeky news. Matt.
All of that. Episode 3, man. Here we are.
Did you ever think we did it? Let's hope that our episode 3 is
Started
better
from
than
the bottom.
other episodes 3s. You know?
We're still kind of there.
We're what?
So we started from the bottom.
We started from the bottom and we're still there.
Still pretty there. But that's
Let's
okay.
change the connotation of episode 3 in our culture, in our demographics, in our world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Matt's giving me the thumbs up, not for what I said, but for me to get closer to the mic. So
Yes.
he
That's
cares.
always good.
He cares.
It's good.
So let's just jump in right now. Like, Matt, do you have any words for anybody?
Any words for anybody?
Yeah, you have any words for anybody as we start off the show?
Hi. That's the word to start off with. No. As far as news, we just want to jump right into news.
Well, I was giving you a chance to maybe craft an intro.
Craft an intro.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about anything specific about the show?
Post.
Huh?
No, just if going into the show, if you want to reach us, talk to us on the social medias.
Yeah.
We are at Let's Go Comic Show on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
So go ahead and
Do that.
follow us there. We're hoping to keep some good content going and keep you guys posted with what we're into, what we're
interact
following.
with us.
Yeah, dude.
Pretend we're at a comic book store and you just want to talk to us about that random issue of Fantastic Four you got from the 80s. We're like, that's cool, man.
Yeah, let us know.
You like John Byrne.
There you go.
Nice.
Why not?
Why? Yeah.
And then the other way you could do is just straight up email. That is letsgocomicshow@gmail.com.
That's right. Email. It's like email. It's like this old way of communicating.
I love that that's
if you're old school, you want to email.
If you don't want to do social media, I guess you can. And then after email, if you want to write us a letter and hand deliver it, I think that's the next option after that.
Yeah, or you can call my house. It's cool.
Phone, man, I
Call
just
me
skipped
on the
over
phone.
that.
Yeah, we should do a Let's Go Comic Show hotline. Hey, 1-800-LONG-BOX.
It'll be to help out wives of comic book fans to know what the crap their husbands are talking about. What's your boyfriend? What's your husband talking about?
Hey, what's going on? So, okay, and let's talk about the rating system really quick.
Yeah.
We're going to rate some stuff, and you guys are going to be like, what the heck does that mean? So, from the bottom, we don't like it. We're going to say it's a don't go.
Indeed.
Don't buy that. Why would you even waste your money? You're a completist? That's a bad problem, especially in comics. I should know. I'm a recovering completist. I'm a recovering completist.
You are.
Oh,
and then the next level after that is a go. And that's going to be something that we may or may not feel stoked on, but we're like, sure, that's on you. Go forward and check it out.
Check it out.
You may or may not like it. We're not invested enough to give a stamp of approval, but it's not horrible.
Yeah. And then there's Let's Go, which is we are fully behind that decision. We're going to recommend it and say, get it.
Yep.
And then
we got to gotta go, and that is the best rating we can give. That
if you don't spend your money on this, you're stupid.
Yeah, stop what you're doing right now, pause the podcast, read that book, watch that movie, check out that TV show.
If it's a decision between giving your kid lunch money or buying an issue of a comic book, we're going to say, get that comic book.
Still give your kid lunch money.
Well,
no,
I would disagree with that. I'd say your kid will be able to read the comic later. It's a better investment. Food will be gone, and who knows? They're going to put French fries in the chocolate milk, and it's probably not even going to be drinking.
Those get a different kind of nourishment from.
Yeah. Anyways, that being said, let's jump into the show. Matt, you have some news for us. Give us some news, bud.
Yeah. So I have been enjoying the Young Animal imprint from DC Comics, and for those who aren't following that or aren't aware of what that is, it's an imprint. So it's they're calling it. They kind of called it a pop-up imprint or something like that when they first launched it, right? So it's this idea. It's not this established mainstay part of DC Comics, but it's going to be something that is like an offshoot, tells different stories, uses different characters, and has I guess a certain amount of freedom to tell them in their own way.
Yeah.
And so Gerard Way, who is not. I mean, he's getting better known in the comic book world, obviously, for what he's done.
Yeah, he did Umbrella Academy, which was really, really good.
But what he's mostly known for is...
My Chemical Romance.
Yes, he is. And so, but he's taking this on. He's kind of leading the charge of a young animal. It consists of a few different books. We have Cabe Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye, Shade the Changing Girl, Mother Panic, and my personal favorite so far that they've been releasing, Doom Patrol. This current run of Doom Patrol is super fun. I've mentioned it on the show before. We'll probably talk about it when the new issue hits, but I've been digging that a lot. So what they're doing now that they have kind of established themselves a little bit, I don't know how you can be established pop-up, but sure, they're doing it.
Well, when you have the power of Warner Brothers behind you.
There you go, yeah. And so what they are doing is we're getting into their ability to launch a new title, which is going to be a mini-series, and this mini-series is Bug.
Bug.
Do you know anything about Bug, Justin?
I do not. At first, when you told me about it, I was like, is it Ambush Bug? That like green funny guy?
That would be kind of funny.
But no, I don't. I have no idea. But looking at him, he 100% is a Jack Kirby looking dude.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the main pull. If you're even moderately familiar with comics, you've probably heard the name Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
Really, just incredibly. Oh man.
He's influential, and he like it's his 100-year anniversary. I mean,
prolific was the word I was looking at.
Okay,
he was a prolific creator. Like he was like churning out character after character after character.
Yeah,
and he's known for like just embracing the weird aspect of stuff too. Like just not being afraid to just create cool out there characters and making you care about them.
Everything that you love, he did. You know, I mean,
give some examples. How about
early Marvel, like Hulk. Spider-Man. He actually did the first Spider-Man, and then it got switched, and then they went to the other guy that I can't think of his name right now.
Stan Lee?
Great information. No, not Stan Lee. Stan Lee wrote, but he illustrated Spider-Man, and then New Gods. That's like what I'm more familiar. Like,
yeah, that's what he's known most for.
Yeah, is Dark Side, Mr. Miracle, all the Fourth World stuff is Jack Kirby. If you around in the 80s, he did the Superpowers like comics too, like nice. That came with the toys, like that was all birthed out of like Jack Kirby concepts. So Dark Side, like I think I mentioned Dark Side, High Father, Orion, all of that stuff is Jack Kirby, and it's awesome. Like Superman the Animated Series took a lot of Jack Kirby stuff. Bruce Timm in his character designs used a lot of Jack Kirby influentials. A lot of they call them Kirby crackles. A lot of Kirby crackles. Yeah. A lot of circles and like geometric shapes in the costumes. That's all Jack Kirby, man, and good stuff.
So apparently, because I'm familiar with some of those, those characters. You got Orion, you got Mr. Miracle, you got Big Barda, all of that fun stuff, like all those new gods. And so what you have that was apparently part of that is Bug, the Adventures of Forager. Or Bug the Forager, and the new miniseries is called Bug the Adventures of Forager, and it is being written, illustrated, and colored by people with all the same last name, and that last name would be Allred.
Allred, yes.
So Mike Allred, is the artist, and what I really remember Mike Allred the most for is Madman. Like it just always seemed like a really iconic look. Like whenever you see like characters and that kind of stuff, like you always knew what you were looking at. And anything he's done since then, I feel like you can look at mostly covers. I would say, like I feel like is what I see him do a lot. I feel like recently,
well, he was doing Silver Surfer.
Yeah, and so like even really looking at that on the stands, you're like, oh, that's a Mike Allred cover. A lot of the covers that I've chosen, because there's been a ton of variants for Doom Patrol, is if there's been a Mike Allred cover, I've usually chosen that because I just love his art style. Yeah. What would you say makes his art style distinct, Justin?
He is real, like it's very clean. It's just very pop. It's a very pop art. I think his partnership with his wife, she does all his coloring, and they don't get too fancy with the coloring. It's very flat, but they're brights. It's just been consistent since early 90s when they've been doing stuff. I feel like a lot of people that I've heard don't like his artwork. Really? And I'm like, I think it's so classic. It's I don't know. I think it's like his art style is like a love letter to comics. I think he does a good job at creating like that quirkiness too. Like he's able to bring that into everything he does, and I think his facial expressions are good. I want to say his art looks like beautiful mannequins. Things that you
I can totally
pose.
see that, because there's something that I was thinking, like he goes really simple on like the features of people. He doesn't go super detailed. Just kind of
it's
the big,
them. You can
bold,
tell it's them.
Yeah, but it's usually big, bold, kind of like brushstrokes. I think of like really heavy lines. But yeah, when you pair that with Laura Allred's colors, I feel like that's always a combination. We'll put up on social media. We'll link to the article.
Yeah.
Talking to them about it. But you can see some of the cover art that they released for it, and based on that cover art, I like Mike Allred. I like Young Animal, and I'm open to like new characters and stuff. And this seems like it's something that specifically is like a love letter to Jack Kirby characters, where this character Bug is just going to be going through all of these different, basically Jack Kirby like worlds, is the gist of it. And so I'm stoked to check that out. I believe that was announced for May.
Now, my question about the Forager, like he's an old character,
right?
And is it going to be DC proper once it's done? Because I know there's like Young Animal can take things from DC, but
do you think? Are you wondering if it's going to be the other way around?
Will he show up? I mean, if they do a New Gods book or something on like in the Rebirth line, can Forager, this bug guy, be a part of that? I don't know.
I'm sure it's open.
It's probably not a question.
I don't think they've shied away from DC Universe proper connections.
I don't think he's going to be the character find of 2017. Like,
no, but I think
get that Zack Snyder Forager movie.
But I can see there's like this kind of wave of freedom to do like kind of more obscure, like weirder stories in comics. I mean, it might just be Young Animal, but I feel like I'm seeing that other places too, where it just feels like, hey, we're going to kind of go big and adventurous and just kind of bold with some of these and just take a chance, which I think can pay off really well. So that is our first news item.
Yeah, and I love Michael Allred, so I'm pretty much going to try everything he does. Like, I love the Batman 66 covers he's been doing.
Dude, yeah.
They're amazing. Like, they're great. It's like,
and it's a miniseries.
Huh? Yeah.
And it's a miniseries.
Oh, it's a miniseries.
So it's
cool,
like, I feel like that's easy to commit to. Like, yeah, I'll check out this story.
How long? How long of a miniseries did it say?
Oh, let me see. I don't know. Hold on.
It's probably.
I know it releases on May 10th. The first
no
issue.
more than 6.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it gives an actual number in the article. So we can take a look at that later.
And Michael Allred's going to be on Doom Patrol 7, so that's cool. So if
yes, I believe actually it's that whole team is going to be doing Doom Patrol 7, which I think is rad.
Sounds good.
It sounds like a good fit.
Heck yeah, no, that's good. And that cover just looks fun again.
Dude, yeah. So we'll post that. Everybody take a look. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So the next thing we've been seeing, and this is, I don't feel like this is like groundbreaking news, but kind of like confirmation of what kind of people have always talked about is the movie Ant-Man, Marvel MCU. At the end of that, spoilers, to save the day, Scott Lang shrinks down to a size that he's supposedly not supposed to because it's dangerous and he might get lost forever. And that is like the trippiest little scene like in that whole movie. And probably the whole thing since it was before Doctor Strange, like in all of the Marvel MCU, like it was just like, what is going on? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like
I think people were like
and stuff.
The multiverse, that's where he's at. Like it was kind of like a thing, you know?
Which brings us to apparently there's confirmation that from director Scott Derrickson of Doctor Strange that in fact is one of the things in the sequence in Doctor Strange where Stephen Strange is being sent through all the different dimensions, that is one of the dimensions he goes through.
Oh, nice.
That the quantum verse, is that what they're calling it?
It would have been really cool if there was a little, like, I don't know, like
the quantum realm, I believe is what it's called.
It would have been cool if there was a little bit of a Ant-Man guy, like,
That would be pretty funny. I'm okay with it not being there. I understand like trying to keep it clean and not trying to distract from, especially with a new character like Strange, and everything was so weird in that.
Yeah.
In that series, all right. But I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, Doctor Strange, that came out before we started the podcast. But for me,
it's actually on iTunes, so you can get it digitally if you want.
Yes. So go support that. Get that movie. For me, that's a gotta go. By the way.
Yeah. For
Doctor
me,
Strange, I loved it.
For me, it's a Let's Go, just because I had issues with Doctor Strange. You can listen to the Let's Go proper show on that.
Yes, check out that back issue.
Check out that back issue episode. But yeah, it was overall entertaining. I'm excited about Doctor Strange, the future of him in Marvel movies, but I had issues with the film in general.
Agreed.
Awesomely like technical, but other than that, yeah, go check it out.
What about this other news? Do you want to talk about one of these other ones?
Well, we were talking a little bit before the show we were just talking about thoughts on kind of there's like a rumor mill that kind of goes on with comics, not necessarily comics in general, but when it comes to the movies and stuff like that. And like, what is our take on things? And like yesterday news was breaking that Mel Gibson is up for Suicide Squad 2, which is, when I heard it, I don't discount anything anymore because anything is like possible.
Yeah.
But I didn't think like, well, that's not possible. I just thought that's weird because he was quoted like a couple months back saying he doesn't want to be involved in superhero movies. He hates them, pretty much like that mouthed them, right?
Sure.
And so I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting because I wouldn't say someone like Mel Gibson, I don't see him as a franchise player, and I definitely don't see him as a part 2 guy.
No, he seems to really just invest in like one story and see it through, and he's good.
So it's an interesting thing, like for WB to court him. I mean, he's getting Hacksaw Ridge love right now. Everything he touches, like cinematically, is good. Like regardless of his like personal craziness.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of gets muddy is people are kind of up in arms about the possibility of it. Like, oh man, that's the nail in the coffin for the DCEU. If they have
that's everything they announce is a nail in the coffin.
Well, yeah, and we talked about that before too.
Yeah.
Poor DCEU just can't catch a break.
Yeah.
They also haven't shown us that stuff is going to be awesome though yet either.
Yeah. So
but I would agree. Like, if you look purely cinematically, what Mel Gibson's done, it's good. Like, so I mean, looking at that objectively, I'm like, sure. Like, I'm at least open to it.
Yeah.
He's crazy. You know what I mean? Like in the personal life and personal views, but I don't know. Like, I mean, but also I was really excited for David Ayer when I heard about it because I love Fury. I think that's a fantastic movie. But Suicide Squad did not live up to what I was thinking that was going to be. So, I mean, who knows, man? It's one of those things for me. Like, let's see at least a trailer, if not the movie. Like, I'm not too worried about it right now.
Yeah, it's really not even.
They can figure out whoever they want to do it.
Here's the thing: if he signs on, great. If he doesn't, great. I'm not emotionally attached like some people. It's funny, people getting mad about it. Like, no one complained when he did Hacksaw Ridge. But again, there's no emotional investment.
Like, you can't touch my superheroes.
Like, man, I cosplay as Hacksaw Ridge. That is my thing. Like, no one's getting upset about that. So, anyways, whatever.
Oh, man.
So
maybe he'll have Killer Croc do more if he directs it. I did something.
Oh, man, I would love Killer Croc to come back. That's the one. Man, Killer Croc could have been Groot. You know what I'm saying? He could have been.
Missed opportunities, man.
Yeah.
We don't need to go down that. There's a whole road of hurt and sorrow awaiting down there. I feel like we just stopped the Suicide Squad talk there.
Right there. We're done.
I can't go there, man. I can't go there emotionally right now.
So, and then, but if we want to talk about DCEU, so Matt Reeves is possibly going to direct the new Batman movie,
and Matt Reeves is
the guy who did,
for those who don't know,
War of the Planet of the Apes, which is coming out, and Dawn. No, he didn't do Dawn. He did the second one.
No, he did Dawn.
He did Dawn. Okay, who did the other one?
So Dawn was the second movie. The first one was fine. I feel like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, by the way, was where I was really like interested.
Yeah, that was really good. I'm excited for War. So, anyways, he's rumored to be on like signing for doing the Batman, and cool. Like, I'm excited about that. Like, Ben Affleck not doing it, it sucks, but I'm kind of over it now. It's like, okay, well, he's not doing it. He says he's not doing it. Have to move on. Like,
well, you know what else Matt Reeves is known for? What kind of got him really kind of in the spotlight a little bit to do the other stuff was Cloverfield.
I was going to say Felicity, but okay.
Did you? I mean, there's also the pallbearer, with David Schwimmer. So,
oh gosh,
he's got that in his arsenal.
Well,
just in case we need a Batman movie like that.
I liked Cloverfield. That was cool. That was a cool movie.
I liked Cloverfield. What I was going to say is like just even the energy, like whether the found footage stuff is your cup of tea or not, just the energy he had with that, I thought it was a cool energy. I'm like, dude, even if it's not found footage, but it just feels that way with a Batman movie, I'm cool with that. So
you're saying if Ben Affleck doesn't continue on with the role of Batman, that David Schwimmer is going to be Batman?
Oh, man. Yeah.
You're like, hey.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
What are you doing here?
I'm Batman.
Hi.
I was going to...
Well, we already know he can't handle leather pants. So, I mean, they got to figure something
He'll be mopey. He'll just be
dude.
upset.
Now just picturing. No, just picturing that.
You know
That's
what? That would be hilarious if people can superhero movie starring David Schwimmer. Like, what could he be? David Schwimmer is Ant-Man.
Hey guys.
All right. That's
so
fine.
the last little bit of news is actually a follow-up to something we talked about last week, and that was the rumor that Marvel is wanting to bring back some of their mainstays and their first iterations of characters.
Yeah.
And us kind of talking about, like, what would that look like? Like, hopefully it's not a replacement, but what would it look like to integrate them back in? And all we have today, hot off the press, the social media press, I guess.
Hey.
We have an image that Marvel Entertainment put out and just says Generations. And it has, across the top, you have the kind of mainstay first gen of each of these superheroes. And then underneath that, all of the other people currently fulfilling that role.
Yeah.
Alex Ross doing the art.
Yeah, it's a cool image. It's something that I think DC used to do better.
Right, and that's what I think. And I mentioned it last week that that was kind of my hope, was that it would be something that talks about and deals with legacy more than like, hey, actually, all these guys are the actual heroes. Do you know what I mean? And it looks like, based off this art, it's just a piece of art. We still have a few other Marvel events to go before this, but based on this art, Generations looks like it might be, hopefully, I would say, dealing with the impact and the legacy of these characters on the people currently filling those roles, and maybe not necessarily replacing them, which I think is a good call.
Yeah, I would hate for them to replace them. Yeah, these are the old school costumes too. These aren't even like the new Captain America costume. It like, if you look at Iron Man's costume, it's like,
it's old school Iron
it's
Man.
the 60s version of it. Yeah, so I'm not sure what to make of it.
Costume is like old Ms. Marvel, like really taking it back.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's cool, like that we talked about that last week, and then you go, hey, here's a little bit more info for that, little meat on the bones.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Curious what happens, man. Curious, like, again, money. What makes money?
Yeah.
This will.
Recognizability. All right, man. Any other news that you want to throw in there?
No, not really. Just, I guess this kind of is news. We're going to talk about the covers of Batman 22 and Flash 22.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's the last one we want to cover.
Yeah.
Is coming up in April.
Yeah.
April, Batman 21, Flash 21, Batman 22, Flash 22 is going to be 4-part crossover. I believe they're calling The Button.
The Button.
So if you've read...
I wish it was I Am Button, because every storyline in Batman's been I am.
Nice. So. That would be kind of funny. So what that is, if you're aware of Rebirth and what's going on there with DC Comics, their books, back when they launched Rebirth, one of the kind of things that was present but not really touched upon was a button, a smiley face button lodged in the wall of the Batcave that Batman and Flash briefly talk about, but then they kind of go on their separate ways. And so it looks like that's coming back to the forefront, and they're the world's greatest detective and the fastest man alive.
And the world's greatest CSI.
World's greatest CSI, fastest man alive, are going to investigate that together, and it looks like it could possibly have Watchmen ties. But then the surprising thing we saw today...
this is cool.
So Tom King... let me see if I can pull it up. Tom King tweeted an image of Batman 22.
Yeah, he put it out. Actually, I think DC put it out, the tweet. And it has the lenticular cover of Reverse Flash and Flashpoint Batman.
Which is really interesting. And we're going even more nerdy. If you don't know what Flashpoint Batman is, the easiest way to access that story is the Flashpoint Paradox, straight to DVD, home video, cartoon, animated feature.
Yeah, I mean,
all of those things. If you want to check out that story,
I think the comic's better.
I agree. The comic's better, especially the Batman Flashpoint miniseries was really great. But just as a means of kind of getting exposed to that story, if you're interested in it, that's the easiest way to kind of dip your toe in that. My brother doesn't read comics, but that's probably his favorite DC animated feature. He just thought he's really enjoyed the story and stuff. So I like the story. I like the comic. I like the movie. So what happens in Flashpoint Universe, spoilers if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, just go watch it and then come back.
Pause it, watch it, come back.
So spoilers, but what happens there, the Batman story is flipped on its head to where Thomas Wayne survives the mugging in Crime Alley, and Bruce Wayne and Martha Wayne are supposedly murdered instead of him, and he becomes Batman, and it's a different kind of Batman. Other than, I mean, he has red on the symbol and red eyes.
But he uses guns.
He uses guns, and he's not afraid to... Does he kill people? He straight up kills people.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So
talking about guns like I ain't got none. Come on.
So it's interesting to see, like,
to
Flashpoint happened, and then New 52 happened, and now Rebirth has happened. And the main, like, point and kind of, like, mystery of Rebirth seems to be pointing back to Flashpoint in some way, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah. So...
and the cover's just cool.
The cover is really cool. Jason Fabok, he is killing it on everything he does. I like what he does. He's kind of like, if you're into Jim Lee art, you would like Jason Fabok. I'm not saying that's what he is, but in that vein of style.
Yeah, in that style.
Really, it's really solid work, man. He does good stuff. He did a good stint on the end of Justice League, the pre-Rebirth run. He did some Batman. He's been all over the place. DC's putting on some big stuff, so
yeah,
he's doing good. He's doing some good work. He's doing good work. But I wonder if this, because Matt just gave me some news before, if this will tie into that whole Tim Drake thing you were talking about.
Yeah, man, we're just going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole.
Deeper, like it is a deep hole.
Hey,
so
follow us down that rabbit hole, everybody.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
So you've been reading Detective. I haven't been reading Detective, so this is based on comic book news sites for me. But the most recent issue of Detective Comics, it seems to be consisted of a few vignettes. So not necessarily a full-on story taking up that whole thing, but a few little mini stories, and one of which is a conversation with Tim Drake in the Belfry, taking place before Tim Drake recently disappeared, apparently died, but disappeared, and is being held hostage by a man who we don't completely know who he
thinks
is.
a Watchmen person.
Mr. Oz.
Yeah, it's probably Ozymandias, so.
That would make the most sense.
We'll see.
So anyway, before that happens, apparently this is showing us that a conversation happened between he and Batman to where Tim has basically figured out Batman's master strategy. And that is that all of the things going on in the other Bat books, so Nightwing, Red Hood and the Outlaws, I feel like I'm missing one. And you can tie in the new Justice League of America book to that. But basically, Tim is saying, like, hey, all of these things are happening that seem to be just these disparate threads, that don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
Tim's basically saying, like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I see, like, don't keep me in the dark. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I think that's cool character moment for Batman. But that just makes me so happy as a cool character moment for Tim Drake. And makes me hopeful that he's not gone for good.
Yeah.
And that after this stuff irons out, that he'll be back in, because going all the way back to his Red Robin series a few years back, I think he's a fantastic character.
Yeah, Tim Drake's been the one like Robin, where like that's the one Batman trusts to take over like the legacy. Like Dick Grayson's always reluctant, like to like he's done it, and it was a good storyline. The Black Mirror one was, at least. But Tim Drake's the one where when they like that one Titan, we talked about it. Like
we talked about
Titans,
it last week.
Like
I think
he's the one who succeeds. He's the one that like Batman says, "You're a better detective than me. Like you're not Jason Todd. You're not the screw up. You're not my crazy hot wired son. Damian. But Tim Drake's the one who can carry the legacy." And,
he's the only one that's been given like the credentials of like being equal to Batman in being a detective.
Yeah,
I mean, back to his original origin, gosh, that was mid-90s.
Yeah, he's my favorite Robin, dude. I mean, he's the one I grew up with.
His origin is so different than any other Robin because he, not to get confused with the lame way it happened in The Dark Knight Rises, he figures out on his own who Batman is. Like it's not because of a tragedy, not because he's an orphan, not because of these other things, but like no, like I figured this out.
He doesn't have orphan vision.
Oh gosh,
you were lonely like me. So
and his real first name
in your eyes,
is Robin.
Yeah, you should use your real name. Sorry.
Thanks for the fodder.
Thank
Dark
you.
Knight Rises.
Thank you, Dark Knight.
That's what you're good for.
I like Dark Knight Rises. I don't like that part. I don't like that part of Dark Knight Rises. I don't like the Robin stuff.
That is not a good
What's not
movie.
true? It's a sidebar. Dark Knight Rises is an entertaining movie. There are huge issues with it that I have, but I will watch it. And there are parts where I love that Catwoman, love Bane. That Robin character sucks. I don't care. He just does not make any sense. His existence does not make sense in that movie. Anyways,
dude.
Side note.
It's true.
Side note.
All right. I feel like that's good for news.
Yeah. But yeah, Tim Drake, check him out. He's a hot minute. He's a hot mess. All right, so let's jump into some of the comics we got in the last couple weeks. I want to jump in really quick with the last 3 issues of Superman. Like currently 17 came out. Wasn't a big... didn't grab me. It was kind of a one-off story with, Jonathan Kent and some type of weird fog-looking monster. And I don't know. It felt like a one-off. And I'm kind of getting bummed because Superman is a book I really like. And the last 4 issues have not done it for me.
Not super great.
Yeah, man. They did this multiversity arc for 14, 15, and 16. And it was cool, but there's too many guest artists that started throwing me off. And I thought they could have done something creative with that.
Yeah.
If you're going to have guest artists, maybe have them illustrate certain characters or certain parts of it because it was kind of jarring as I read it. It wasn't a terrible thing, but it was I think it was just setting up basically, our Superman from our Earth. He's the biggest hero ever because he sacrifices himself to save these other Supermans. And it is always, I kind of like when they do this weird, all the different Supermans are teaming up and hanging out, and that's kind of neat. It's like the Superman club of heroes.
But centralizing Earth is always problematic, I feel like. In any alien related things, everything is based on Earth.
Well, that's what the White Lanterns were, remember? Yeah. The source.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that's what that was. So it was whatever. But read Batman 17, getting caught up on I Am Bane. It was a good issue. I think I'm gonna wait and comment on the whole story arc again, once it's done, because I don't think it's fair to completely
What would you say, just as an issue, just reading that issue?
Going with the Superman stuff. I would say the Superman stuff right now. Overall, that title is a let's go for me, but the last 4 issues have been go. Okay, have been a go. But
how do you feel about I Am Bane so far? It doesn't have to be the definitive.
No, it's good. I think it's a let's go. It's interesting. They're doing something fun. And I think the next issue is going to be the one that's kind of oh, okay, I see what's happening. I see what's happening here with I Am Bane. So, I'm always going to buy Batman. So it doesn't matter. It can be the worst issue ever, and I'll still keep going. It'd have to be trash juice.
Oh yeah, you're still going to give it a shot.
Yeah. So really I Am Bane. Good stuff. I'm just waiting.
Right on, dude. So and then. Sorry, so we're talking about comics we picked up last week. Yeah. Then we can talk about what we picked up yesterday. Yeah. So last week I got Power Man Iron Fist 13, Teen Titans 4. So still catching up on Teen Titans arc. Yeah. What's really funny is that all of that stuff from Detective that we just talked about makes me curious to keep going on Teen Titans to see if that ties in possibly as well. Because that was part of what Tim Drake was saying is that's intentional. You line stuff up so that Damian can lead a new group of Teen Titans and get them together in his way. Yeah. So that's fine. What happened with the Teen Titans title that I thought was kind of a bummer is after the first issue, that artist left the book. And so he still kept doing a few covers, but he's not the main artist. So the interiors are fine, but not as good, in my opinion, as that first issue. Was really fun and felt really kinetic. It felt really good. So Teen Titans for me is still just a go. Yeah. This issue was okay. It's kind of a little bit of closing this opening arc of getting the team together. Damian is involved a lot, obviously.
I like Damian.
Ra's al Ghul is in it.
Oh, right.
There's a group of young assassins called the Demon's Hand that are part of it. But yeah, I would say it's good. It still isn't grabbing me as something that's really fantastic. Mm-hmm. Something that I have enjoyed lately, Power Man Iron Fist. Number 13 is also about to I think it's actually, sorry, I take that back. It's starting a new arc.
It's only got 3 issues left.
I know, man. So we talked about it in the previous episode.
Yeah.
It's looking like that's getting replaced by Luke Cage and Iron Fist each having solo titles. So we'll see how that goes. So not a Sanford Green issue as far as art, which I feel like you could tell. And this was one of the first times, honestly, where the writing felt a little weird to me. And I can't quite place it. I feel like it's one of those things I need to see the arc through and see how that pans out. But man, such fun characters still. Power Man and Iron Fist. That's a let's go if you're into comics. You like fisticuffs and witty dialogue. It's really fun.
It's fun.
So that was last week. Pretty light week. Even lighter week this week.
Really? Yeah.
For me. But I think the main thing we wanted to talk about, just for time's sake, is we both picked up the first issue of Super Sons.
Yeah.
And that is Tomasi. And then Jimenez on art.
Yeah.
What else has Jimenez done recently?
I don't know, but
he's newly exclusive to DC as an artist.
Yeah, he reminds me of Humberto Ramos and that style, and it's cool. It fits the book well. I think it's a good pairing. Overall, I like the book, but it didn't get me excited to read the next one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't bad, but I think right off the bat, I'm going to give it a go. It's a go for me. If I miss issue 2, I'm not going to care.
Interesting.
It didn't end on enough of and I'm not going to spoil it. Didn't end on enough of I'm not curious as to what the heck's happening yet. I'm really not. And I might be wrong. I might come back, 3 issues later and go, hey. That being said, I am going to get issue 2. I'm just not excited. I'm not looking forward to it. So let me clarify.
So what's, before we talk through more details, what's the main idea of Super Sons? Like, what's the main kind of pull? So the main pull on that is the son of Superman, son of Batman,
hanging out, doing stuff.
So fighting crime.
Yeah, more as Damian's kind of like the aggressor. Like, hey, we got to hang out. We got to go do this. Like,
so there's Damian Wayne, who's the son of Batman.
Yeah,
current Robin, and Jonathan Kent, son of Superman. He's been a big part of the Superman main title. So just for context, for talking through this, because what I dug most about this was their interaction together. Like, felt like a real reflection of both of their characters interacting.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the writing?
It was good. I mean, it was consistent. Like Superman 10 and 11 is where they had kind of the first crossover with Damian and Jonathan Kent and Peter Tomasi writing it. So there's consistency there. I think he has a good voice for them. Like, in my head, Damian is loud and abrasive, and that's how I hear it. And it's consistent. Like, but I like the character of Damian Wayne. That
makes him interesting, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have that little 1-page spread toward the beginning of the book where their interaction is like pretty funny. Where it's like the big it's time for Robin and Superboy.
Yeah.
But then it's like, why's your name first? Like, I'm older. Well, I'm taller. Shut up. Like, and it's just like,
and so that
asides like that feel like pretty fun.
And I think that's what will keep me coming back. Like, that's why I want to give it another couple issues. That's enjoying. It's just fun. It's fun. It's like watching, 2 kids figure out who the heck they are, and it felt real. Didn't feel forced. Yeah. I was gonna say there was a definite Dark Knight Returns reference on
which I
halfway through the book.
Like, I think that's so fun.
Yeah.
So when they're in Metropolis, you look out for that if you're reading the book.
There you go.
I love the art.
Yeah.
Like, this art it's fun, but it's also, I don't want to say pretty, like it's a different kind of connotation, but it is like really, really well done.
Yeah. The coloring's good. I like it. I don't like the new Batman suit. We talked about that.
Go back to episode.
But they did something
on that one.
Yeah, they did something interesting with the shot. It made it feel like the bat symbol is like a shiny black surface, and I kind of liked how it looked with the way they did the coloring. And it didn't look like
in this book.
Yeah, it didn't look like a big rubber, plated symbol. It looked a little more
I see
streamlined.
it
You know what I'm saying? It looks like if you touched it, it's like maybe a hard resin plastic or something. I don't know. I like how it looked. I like the rendition of the suit in this, minus the purple cape. So,
which is not present in this, if you'll notice.
See
it's not purple inside the cape.
See, because they know.
What I would say is like one of my favorite aspects about this book so far, just before I give it the full-on rating, is to see the interaction of the fathers with the sons and how different those are.
Oh yeah. Like
to have like Batman being like, "No, stop it.
Yeah,
you're gonna do that. Did you promise me? Yes. Then keep your word."
Yeah, keep your word. I like that. I was like, I got to use that with my kids. Keep your word.
But then but then the Kents, like you go to them and they're like playing poker together and like sitting at, like even the color scheme is like completely different. And he's like, hey, like, you know, it's important. Like you stood up for what's right and, you know, just be a hero, you know, whenever you can. Like you don't have to do it when you have an S on your chest. And it's really interesting to see those different dynamics. And I think that's probably what's going to come into play as you see Damian and Jonathan interact more.
Yeah. There's just that trust there with Jonathan. Like, that's the thing where I think they're both breaking trust kind of.
Oh, totally.
Whereas
they're both like sneaking out.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're a good kid. We trust you. And then the other one's like, don't go out because I don't trust you. It's like breaking trust both sides of the stick.
So I wonder if that's going to turn into Damian like actually doing something that's pretty trustworthy, but still getting in trouble because of the view of who he is, and then Jonathan like still getting some slack, even though he's the one that maybe make a poor decision.
Yeah, or it's gonna be like this thing where Batman knows. He always knows.
Oh, dude.
Tim's like, I knew that you knew what you were doing.
I knew that you knew that I knew
like,
that you knew.
It's like a little pop-up feature, like on a movie. It's like a Tim Drake. I knew you were gonna do this. What does Tim Drake say?
You were 2 steps ahead, and I was 3.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say if I'm going to give it a rating, for me, it's a let's go. Cool. I'm actually pretty excited. The last page, like lead into the next issue, that's not the draw for me, honestly. It's the quality of the rest of the book. And I think it opens with a really interesting scene, too, where you're like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then they don't reference it at all, which I'm totally fine with. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. Just the art and the dialogue, like that's going to keep me coming back for sure.
Definitely. All right. So
cool. Comics.
Overall, we like the book. We're looking forward to the book. I'm hoping that my thoughts change. You know, it's kind of like a pilot episode, much like the pilot episode of Powerless.
Which you can listen to on episode 3. I don't even want to spend all that much time, honestly, on it.
Let's just talk about episode 2 really quick.
We'll talk about episode 2 of Powerless.
Yep. Powerless.
There's such great concepts buried in there. Like they had a superhero fantasy league.
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny. Like it's just a goofy idea. Except for this episode is starting to really cement a strong dislike for all of the characters. Like they're just all horrible people.
Yeah, they're terrible. Like why do you want to watch them? Like they're not fun. They're just jerks.
Is it David Funches?
Yeah.
I still kind of like his character. I think he's pretty funny. But like everyone is just like really, I don't know. Just everyone seems like really rude and kind of mean. Like you don't have something to kind of break it.
They only like each other because they work together. Like, you know, like they probably don't have friends.
I mean, usually on a show like this, you're going to have like one character, maybe 2 that are like insufferable. And they're kind of like you know what I mean?
That would be the girl, what's her name? Wendy. Like, I think Wendy, her character, I like her character like that. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else, like, it was funny. I was watching TV the other night and a commercial came up and it's like, clever. I'm like, it's not clever.
Nope.
I don't think there's anything clever. And it sucks because, man, what I don't want people to is to watch this show and be like, oh, dude, DC stuff sucks. You know, there's already enough.
There's already enough.
But Powerless is
in that column.
I'm giving it. I'm going to give it to 6 episodes. You know,
I will do the same. We'll give it a first arc. Like I think that's a good general rule for all comics related things. Like let them tell the story. And judge it from there.
Give it 6. Hashtag
I will say,
give it 6.
I think I gave it a go or maybe a let's go last week, and that's dipping a little bit for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna still. It's still at a go. Yeah. I'm gonna watch. I'm making it a point to watch it, but really only for the reason
of really love DC stuff.
I'm a
then
DC guy.
Go for it. If you don't, you're probably not gonna like it.
But it's not enough for me to just like DC and watch it. You know, it's like I love Batman. I don't watch the show Gotham. Gotham does not do anything for me. You know, and so I have to like it. It has to be
not interested at all.
Yeah, it has to be quality product. And so just because it's DC doesn't mean I'm going to watch it. It may get me there in the first couple episodes, but it may not keep me there. So it's got to be quality. So
yeah, agreed.
Cool.
And in that same vein of DC, real quick before we wrap this up today, a quick plug for a conversation on the Lego Batman movie.
Oh yes,
we are hoping
coming soon
to have one very soon and to get that out to everybody, an extended discussion on that. But short thoughts, I think we're both unanimously saying that's got to go.
Yeah. Oh, Lego Batman, got to go. Definitely.
Got to go.
But why? Find out. Stay tuned.
I read a tweet that said, if you have kids, you'll really enjoy the Lego Batman movie. And if you don't have kids, you'll really enjoy the Lego Batman movie.
Yes.
Like someone tweeted that. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. Like I'm ready to go back again. We all took our sons to go see that, and I'm actually ready to go back and see it again without them.
Here's what I'll say. If the Lego Batman movie was an actual Lego on the ground and I stepped on it, I wouldn't be angry.
I'm not going to.
I'd pick it up and go, "You Lego Batman, get in my hands so I can hold you."
Yeah, I think we'll just keep it to that. Save all the rest of it for the extended chat. But we will say, Lego Batman, gotta go.
It's a gotta go. Stay tuned for the giant size.
So many ways.
The giant-sized one-shot spectacular.
Yes. I need to stop talking about it because I'll just start gushing about it because I love it so much.
Cool.
All
right, man.
That's the show today,
That's the show. A little quick one, but wanted to get something out for consistency. Matt, how can I send you a message on the internet?
That would be at Matt Ritchie.
Oh, thanks. I keep forgetting.
And that would be MattriChey.
Awesome.
What about you?
J_Rocca. I'm working on it. One day I'll tell the story.
Dude, we should have that story.
We'll tell the story one day.
And in the meantime, you can also hit the show up again at Let's Go Comics Show. And also Let's Go Comics Show at gmail.com if you want to hit us up the old-fashioned email way.
Mm-hmm. And everything Let's Go is at letsgocast.com. You can get this show and our signature show and check out the blogs. There's some stuff coming.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Matt, let's go.
Let's go.